Hi guys, and welcome to Trading Card Talk. It is Monday, a fun day Monday.
Fun day indeed.
And we have a special guest.
I'm Base at Tom.
Where's he at?
So it is...
Pokemon Card Classic, Shreddy from the Pokemon Card Classic.
There we
What you guys
go.
want to call me, but yep.
Or as we like to call him, Muscle Man.
Muscle Man.
Yeah, he's making us look a bit little weepy right now.
My arm's going to stay like... No, this the entire video. There you go. Can't see him now.
But yeah, basically, you've come down just now. You had a rather long drive.
Yep. Was meant to be 3.5 hours, but it's ended up being like 4 and a bit, I think it took. So.
Well, we do live in the north of France.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that probably didn't help the drive. But yeah, we've just been really chatting about everything that really should have gone into this video.
I think we spent like 2 hours talking before we pressed record. So
Yeah.
But we're just going to go over some of that, I guess, and talking about like your journey in Pokemon. It was actually pre-me, which is pretty cool. So you've probably got knowledge that I don't
Because
have.
you are really old.
I am like 52.
Yeah.
So you've probably got knowledge that I don't have, and even then you've come back into the game.
I can
recently.
try and pretend I've got knowledge that you don't have.
Okay.
And really, I might not know anything. I might just be blagging.
Well, we've
That's
also
all.
got Tom here for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So.
Don't steal my job.
Took our job. Took our job.
He won't even understand the South Park reference. So.
No,
Come on.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. These guys were talking about cars, which I don't know that much about. I bought one and it broke down immediately. And also, you're a wrestler as well.
Yep.
I've not followed any of WWF.
Please don't fight us.
Well, this table, people go through tables in
Yeah.
wrestling, so who knows what's going to happen at the end of this video. Will you guys be ready for Shreddy?
No, I'm not. I've got an exit.
We are officially Shredheads. Please don't hurt us.
Go subscribe
Like,
to this
comment, and
channel.
subscribe.
This guy will be getting the highest level of service from Grady Gym.
One day returns, I heard. Yeah.
PSA attends everything.
But yeah, it's been really cool. Just actually for the first time meeting you, it's been really easy to chat to you.
Yeah.
For 5 hours that we've done.
Yeah.
And you obviously have a lot of past experiences with Pokemon. You were telling us, I'm going to bring this up now. I'm sorry to do this, but your legendary collection box that you were talking about that you bought.
Yeah, so biggest, like we were talking about this 2 hours ago we started telling the story, but yeah, I don't have any regrets buying Pokemon cards, but selling I've got 2 massive regrets. So one of them was selling a legendary collection booster box sealed for £200 in like 2012, I think I sold it for. I actually made a thread about it on the E4 forum, like that's still there, 2012, 2013.
That's how you say your name with a lisp. Shred.
Thread. Freddy Breck.
Freddy Brick.
But yeah, sold that for like 200 quid, and it's now worth 15 grand. I've been selling, been seeing them going for on Instagram.
So you missed out on a little bit of money.
Just a little bit,
Yeah.
just like a house deposit or something. But if I had both of them, I could have got that GTR we were talking about earlier.
You could have got
Would have been nice.
the infamous GTR Pokemon money.
But instead, I've got probably nothing to show for it. 200 quid if that.
You've still got a really cool collection.
Yeah.
Like, sorry to bring that up straight away. You've got your base set first edition set,
Yeah.
which it actually isn't unlimited. It's actually first edition.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. And you've got legendary collection reverses.
Yeah.
Which is obviously a set that we don't see too often.
Yeah.
Not raw anyway.
Because they blind us.
Yeah.
Fireworks.
Yeah.
Fireworks.
Well, when we put them on the angles, they hit you back in the face.
Yeah. They really mess with the camera. And if you're trying to do a submission video and one of those comes up, you're like,
Get a reflection.
So obviously you've still got cool stuff. So it's just part of the journey, isn't it? Like we all have.
Yeah,
regrets.
so I'm like a vintage collector. Like I was saying earlier that I've opened like 5 packs of modern products like ever. It was the first time I'd opened packs this week in like 9 years or something. Which was like one of them Sword and Shield tins. So all my collection is that older stuff. So the base set, I've got almost everything WotC up to Legendary Collection, like just binder sets complete, minus a couple from like the 3 last Neo sets. But like I'm happy with what I've got. It's just, that was a big, looking back in hindsight, it's a big mistake selling that. But like we were saying earlier, with hindsight, I'd have invested £1,000 in Bitcoin 12 years ago. Like I'd have invested in Bitcoin instead of Pokemon cards. But we can't go back in time.
And then I'd be a billionaire.
Well, yeah. All the Charizards. All the Charizards.
I'd buy up Pokemon.
I'd be like, can I have one of everything, please? What? No, one of everything.
Can I have one of the Pokemon company, please? Thank you.
Well, I've now got the best collection. But yeah, like that's pretty cool. How you've come up like before. You were saying like how you were at uni.
Yeah.
And like that was part. I don't know how much of this you want to share on a public
not like
video,
as much like anything you want to talk about, really.
Yeah. So, I'm sorry. This is like a bit of an interview, bit of like
interrogation.
Interrogation.
Yeah.
How did you get on your cards?
Spotlights on,
To be there, they are really bright. Like they're horrible.
I want to make sure everything you say is recorded and used legally. That's what we do to people. I do apologize.
I guess what was the community like back then? I guess that's the question I've got because I wasn't in it then.
You're in nappies.
I was definitely not in nappies.
I'm only 30. Just for the viewers out there, I'm not that much older than these guys, by the way.
I'm 42 now. But like,
actually turned 30 last Sunday.
Oh, happy birthday! Happy belated birthday!
Just a new level up, as the cool kids say on Instagram. Level 30 IRL. I'm 30-year-old. Let's not be. Let's not be
to
too
wear legendary armor now. That's what I heard.
Yeah, it's an upgrade. Should have got him a birthday cake. I feel a bit bad now.
Well, maybe next time.
Next time.
Belated birthday cakes.
I guess what was the community like back then? Was there any talk about investments? Was there any talk about the future? What was it like?
So I was collecting in 2008, as like when I got back into it. Back then, like we were saying earlier, PSA grading wasn't popular at all. I've mentioned this very briefly on some of the videos I've done, but PSA graded cards just wasn't popular in Pokemon at all. Like there was always a PSA, I can't remember if it was 10 or 9 complete hollow base sets listed on eBay with like a 15,000, basically it was 16 grand. That was one of those listings that was always listed. You know, when people just want to flex and like, oh, look at my card, so they put like a crazy price on. To get the full hollows then, people would look at that and be like, 15 grand, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, so to give you an idea of the price comparison then to now, like a Charizard now is $50,000,
$75,000 the last one.
Like, so just straight away there you can see the price difference. But grading wasn't a popular thing at all.
There was no graded gem. That's all.
There was no graded gem. Yeah. So, actually, funny you say that. One of the reasons I've got a raw collection is because I was too scared to send my cards off to get graded. Yeah. Like, I don't want to send cards off in the post that could go missing. So I'd rather have some cards raw than have no cards at all.
Yeah.
I think that was probably common. Like, across a lot of people, especially in the UK or outside of America, because you have to send them abroad. And
well, you always hear horror stories like of people sending stuff to the US or the US to the UK, and at the end of the day there is a big lake in between the two countries.
And if you send it with Hermes, they'll just put it in a bottle and push it.
That
would turn the Lake of Rage if my Charizard went into there, I'll tell you that right now.
Yes, but there is like that risk factor.
Massively, yeah.
Like if you're not used to the processes, and obviously you got import taxes and import charges.
Yeah.
Good friends at FedEx always sent me a lovely email. But like
and a bill,
and then a bill comes through the door. But that's like kind of part of the thing is like not knowing exactly how it should be.
Yeah.
And by having a process like in the UK with Graded Gem and other services, like it just makes it a lot easier. And it's trial and error. Like I basically set this up by sending off my own cards.
Yeah.
To make sure.
She had bigger balls than me then because I wasn't taking that risk at all. I was not taking that risk, so thank you.
No,
thank you, Connor, because I joined him when it was safe. I was like, yeah, I can do this now.
But no, like what you said there is exactly right. Like for me, and there'll have been other people like me, just you have that worry of sending these valuable cards off. Like for me, collecting, like I'm a collector more than an investor. Sure. So when I was building this collection, like between 2008 and 2013, these cards like meant something to me, and there's like certain memories with certain cards and things like that. Whether I've bought it as a kid, whether I bought it when I was like a teenager at uni or whatever, there's memories to those cards. So it's not just the monetary value. It's like some of the cards you got memories with and things like that. So you don't want to be sending them off to go missing because you might get the money replaced, but then it's like, well, I don't want the money, I want the actual item kind of thing. So
and it'll never be the same one.
No, we've heard things from the past that people have sold, like say especially PSA graded cards as well. Like, I pulled this when I was a kid, graded it at 9, then I sold it, but I've bought back a 9 now, but it's not my card, it's not my cert number,
different,
and stuff like that. So yeah, I totally see what you're saying.
So in terms of the grading side of the community back then, kind of, I'm not saying it didn't exist because it did, but it just wasn't popular at all. There was no Instagram in like 2008 to 2013. There was no Instagram back. I can't remember what year Instagram launched, but Instagram wasn't a thing back then. There was Facebook, like early kind of days of Facebook. YouTube was still the early-ish days. Like I think YouTube launched 2006, but you had people doing like opening videos. They were still popular back then. People doing box breaks, like what all the bigger channels are doing now, and they've got millions of subscribers. You had some channels doing that back then, but it's like those popular guys back then, I think, have kind of quit, and like, you know, you got Leon Hart and PokeRevs and bigger channels like that doing it now. But I think some of like those original channels don't exist anymore. Like Primetime Pokemon we mentioned earlier.
Yeah,
he was like the go-to guy. He was like the kind of Pokemon channel back then. I think I actually seen something on him from Twitter or Instagram recently. Like he's came back to doing Pokemon cards or something. But so that was kind of like the landscape then.
I guess we take it for granted, social media.
Oh, massively,
Pokemon, because obviously when we've been in the game, it's all been showing off your cards on Instagram, putting the videos out on YouTube, and like even if they don't get many views, especially when I started out, I was like getting 50 views on a purchase video. Yeah. To me, it was just about sharing that experience.
But now those old videos bang.
Yeah, well they do all right now. Don't go to oldest first.
Make sure you go check out the Purple Sofa videos, and then compare it to what you've got now, and tell us what you prefer.
Well, they're definitely going to prefer this, aren't they? It was me and an awful mic and an awful camera going, I got a Registeel, woo!
They might prefer that casting couch vibe, though, mate.
Oh!
Yeah, I was thinking more Ashen's reviewing some of the same, but yeah, I see we've gone there.
Who knows?
Didn't have a girlfriend back then, so it wasn't as exact.
Everything was fair game, eh? How many Charizards for this?
Wow.
Well, that took a turn.
When does a Charizard become a currency, though?
I would argue all that he is.
Yeah, you think?
I would argue.
Would you trade me your supercar for a Charizard? If it was the right Charizard?
Were you guys not saying something earlier about a guy swapping his collection for a car, though?
Yes.
Like the GTR?
So a guy... what was the word you used?
Leverage, yeah. Because he knows his collection is of a certain value.
Yeah.
So he can then be like, right, I've got the confidence to go and get my dream car.
Yeah. Nissan GTR.
Yeah. So which is very cool, and you know maybe one day I'll be able to get a Vauxhall Corsa, but
one day.
But we'll see how it goes. But like that's the kind of craziness is like it's because it's not real money.
I think like I know what you're saying. I think depending on what you're buying from who, it could be a currency. Like let's say I'll go into a Honda garage with my binder of cards wherever they are, and I'm like, right, I want a Civic Type R. I'm going to give you this buying Pokemon cards. They look at me like I'm a crazy man. But if it's like you're buying from, say, a private dealer,
probably wouldn't say no to you.
Who,
sure.
Just give me the car. But maybe it's like if you were buying it from someone who was a trader or someone who knew, like they could look at that and be like, right, well, I know this card is worth X. I know this card's worth X. This collection's worth X. You could kind of trade your cards for an item. So I can kind of see like an argument for that given the right circumstances, but I think most people would probably just look to, I've got me collection is worth £50,000. I'll sell that. I've now got £50,000 cash. I'll now go and buy whatever it is I want. I think that's probably the more common. I would think. I'm not sure.
It's very rare that we actually see people sell all of their collection, especially if they've been building it. Like someone might go, right, these have done extremely well this year, so I'm going to get rid of them. And then they would maybe buy something they wanted and then pick up a different set. Does that make sense?
Rather than selling the entire thing. I think I would agree with that.
Because then people feel like they miss out as well.
Like,
I would feel like if I sold everything now, I would feel like I'd miss out on if the prices continued to increase.
That's exactly 100%. That's how I feel. And because so I started collecting originally when I was a kid. So like 99, I think the cards came out.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
but Pokemon came out like I remember getting Pokemon Red for not for Christmas, for Boxing Day. I've covered that story on my channel as well. Didn't get it as a Christmas. It's the only thing I wanted for Christmas. Never got it, but I got Boxing Day. But the cards came out like a couple of months later. Yeah, crappy childhood.
Getting edged with a Christmas present.
Childhood, yeah. But so it was like 1999. Collected as a kid, kind of grew out of Pokemon like for a few years when I was like a teenager. Got back in with Fire Red, Leaf Green, the games. back in 2008 is when I started buying cards again. So you can kind of see like the price difference and the price jump from being around that time. I've got first-hand experience seeing like, oh, well, I bought these cards for X amount 12 years ago. They're now worth this much. It's like, that's first-hand experience of, oh, well, if I wait another 12 years or another 10 years, they're going to be worth even more. Yeah, because I don't see any reason why. I was actually talking to someone about this on Instagram the other day. Long-term growth, I don't see any problems with Pokemon.
No.
But along the way, like if you look at a chart of, say, 10 years, 20 years, I think it's going to kind of look like steady, like the line's kind of going up.
Oh, for sure.
But if you look down that close, like month on month, year on year, it's going to be like that. There's going to be highs, there's going to be lows. There's always going to be dips in the market. But if you look at it like over a 10, 20 year period, it's only going to go up, I think. Like
when prices do dip, like people come in and get him at that price. If I see a bargain, like if I'm after the Blastoise EX and it's gone from 250 to 800, if that drops to 550 or 600, I'll buy it.
I would love nothing more now, as much as like my value, like as much as my collection is worth, whatever it's worth with the current prices, I would love nothing more than a good dip. Because the money I've got in my bank, I would just go in and buy those shining cards we were talking about. Like one of the concerns I've got at the moment about buying shining Neo cards is,
have they peaked? For the moment, have they peaked for the moment? Yeah.
So do I buy now and then risk them dropping, and then I've lost like money on that in the short term? Do I buy now because they're continuing to grow? Like I don't know what's going to happen with it.
What's your favorite shining card?
Shining Charizard.
Oh,
it's got to be the Shining Charizard.
Such an awful lot.
It's got to be the Shining Charizard.
I hate it. Shining Gyarados or Shining Magikarp all the way.
Whenever I'm here, he only says that because I haven't got him.
No, it's genuinely.
What a troll.
If you've played Gold, Silver, Crystal, the Lake of Rage, it's the first shiny most people encounter. The red Gyarados, it means a lot to a lot of people.
I'd say the Shining Gyarados looks proper cool. And like you say, it's like, for me, Gen 2 is my favourite.
Yeah.
Because Gen 2 encompasses all of Gen 1 as well. Yeah. Like, I'm not saying that the 100 new Pokemon in Gen 2 were better than the 150 from Gen 1, but when you were watching like the cartoon of Gen 1, there was already seeds there for Gen 2.
Well,
like
the first thing you ever see is Ho-Oh.
Yeah,
first thing you ever see.
First episode, you see Ho-Oh, you get Togepi in there. There's a couple of other Pokemon kind of like
voice breaking
dotted through.
Yeah,
it's like Gen 1. So then Gen 2 is like logical, makes sense. Whereas Gen 3 comes along and it's like, right, where there's been no seeds planted for that, it's just this like random new Pokemon.
When it released to English, they already knew of Gen 2 in Japanese, didn't they?
Yeah.
Like they knew that was eventually going to be the case if it was popular enough at the
time.
Yeah. So therefore, it felt like more seamless, natural progression.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, perfect way to put it.
With Gen 2, they were like, as you.
Yeah, but in Gen 2, you go back to Gen 1 as well, don't you?
Yeah.
So you go back to
Gold and Silver Silver when you finish the Johto League, and then it's like, oh, now go and explore all of Red, Blue, and Yellow. It was like 2 games in one. Like, if you're a 10-year-old kid, however, if you're a kid playing that, it's crazy. It's like 2 games in one.
Yeah, well, one of the things I really want to get for the collection, like ever, I don't collect as many cards, which is weird considering what we do.
Yeah,
I like collecting games and weird. I like collecting the weird stuff. I really want to get a boxed version of Crystal, like factory sealed Crystal. I also want red as well, or blue, but Crystal would be like my number one thing to get.
I've got red and yellow from when I was a kid, but they're obviously not sealed. I've got the box, I've got the carriage, I've got the instruction book, but it's like the trainer's manual. Back then, how cool was like instruction booklets, by the way. Good. Like now you get a little SD card in a like maybe one sheet advertising the trading cards or something. Like you don't get much, but
you literally get this. That's all you get, a sheet with a Gigantamax code that ran out.
Yeah, you get like a DLC code, whereas like there'll probably be people watching this who have never held a Game Boy, there'll be younger viewers maybe who have never held a Game Boy.
Get a Game Boy.
Game Boy, if you don't know what it is, it's what we used to play games on.
It's like a mobile phone without a phone in it,
and with no touchscreen. And it was like green, like there was green and black as the color. Like that's all it was. But the instruction books for the old, the red, blue, and yellow.
You played 3rd gen, right?
I did play 3rd gen.
That's the best. I've said this before to you on the channel. The instruction book in that is the best because it has Braille in the back. And you have to learn Braille to get the Reggies.
Right.
So Reggie Rock, Registeel, and Regice. To unlock those, there's like Braille in the game. You have to translate it to do the puzzles. So sick.
Just a little fact: Shreddy may never have played that with an instruction book. It might just play it on a ROM. maybe.
Oh, maybe.
Oh yeah, but I mean, maybe not.
Maybe not, but you may have only ever played Gen 3 on a ROM. Who knows? But I didn't actually know that.
Yeah, so there's like secret places you have to dive to and things like that in the game. And you can, like, it'll just come with dots on the screen. You're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Then you realise it's on the back page of the manual.
Cool.
You unlock the legendaries by doing weird puzzles in the game.
Like really cool. You would never get anything like that now. Completely off topic, nothing to do with Pokemon, but did you play Metal Gear Solids?
Yeah,
he's a massive MGS head.
Same with like look at the back of the Meryl's codec on the back of the CD.
Yeah.
You would never get anything like that in a game now. You had to have.
Are so far out.
You would have to like have the original copy, the original like actual box case.
Yeah.
You look on the back and there's a screenshot of the codec conversation.
Yeah.
You have to put that code in to like trigger a conversation in the game. You never get things like that in games now.
I think you'd see that in like Japanese RPGs, but that's it.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd see it in Western games at all because
not.
everything's made like, here's it easy and here's some stuff to buy.
Yeah.
I was disappointed with Let's Go. Like
I love Let's Go.
You loved it, but I thought it was too easy.
It's because it's not a main series game though.
That might have been the case, but I still thought there should have been Easter eggs. There should have been harder difficulty. Maybe there should have been something that made it more of a fleshed out game. Personally,
it's all about shinies.
I agree with that. In this, I do agree with that. I bought my Switch purely for Pokemon. Like Let's Go Pikachu is the one I got, and I'd love it because of the nostalgia. But if you look at it as like, right, it's 2000. What year did it come out? 2 years ago, 2018. If you look at it as right, it's 2018. This is the game you've got. I think a kid playing that would look at that game and think, it's
a bit too easy. It's a bit too simple. It's
us as like 20-odd-year-olds or like me 30-year-olds look at that and like, oh, this is like Pokemon. Yeah, imagine if we had this when we were kids.
Yeah.
But if you're a 10-year-old kid, it's the purely the nostalgia. I agree with that. If you're a 10-year-old kid now and you've played what was out before Let's Go, was it XY, Sun Moon?
Sun and Moon, I think, and then Alpha Ruby and Omega Sapphire.
You'd be playing that on the DS, and then you go to the Switch version. Yes, it's got better graphics, but the game, like,
I think it was
it's just dumbed down. And I did enjoy it. Don't get me wrong, but if I didn't have the nostalgia, I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much because it's very basic. Like you say, there was really no Easter eggs in it. Your rival didn't look as cool as what Blue did or Gary did back in the day. It's just like a generic kind of like. I would agree with what you think on that,
There you go.
But it's that nostalgia that keeps guys like us playing. And
you get to see shinies in the wild.
It sells.
That is the only thing that mattered to me. Like, I didn't care about doing the game. Like, obviously, I was a bit like, oh, yeah, I remember this. But it's afterwards when I was shiny hunting. And I was like, oh, my God, it's a shiny Growlithe. I can see a shiny Growlithe.
Running around,
the barren. Like, oh, my mind.
Yeah.
My mind was blown.
I was actually having this conversation with one of my friends yesterday saying, like, in a way, how lazy is the Pokemon games, though? Like, when you think, like...
Oh, no, they're great. We love you, Pokemon Company.
There's the thumbnail right there. But if you think back to, like, Red, Blue, Yellow, Gen 1, take the graphic upgrades, and even the graphics, like, debatable, especially on Sword and Shield. Like, you put Sword and Shield next to Zelda on the Switch, and it's like, this doesn't stack up. No. But, like, how lazy are the games in terms of the developments? They're still fun to play.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you look at a franchise that has made such little development in that 20-year span,
like you obviously you've got your degree in game stuff.
Game design and programming.
There we go. Yeah. Game stuff. But I mean,
the technical term.
So like mechanics, like in the game, it is still the same thing. You battle, you level.
However, do you remember when Pokemon did go out there? Colosseum and stuff like that.
Wow.
Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness.
Amazing, wouldn't it?
Those things were blooming fantastic. You had to you got these shadow Pokemon, you had to heal them back to like being regular, or else they'd do random shadow moves and stuff. Where's that stuff gone?
So I never played XD. I still do have Colosseum, but never played. I think that was in like the phase where I was like, kind of not interested as much in Pokemon. And then to buy it now, it's like crazy to go back and buy kind of thing for GameCube.
Going a bit off do you think it's crazy how Pokemon, like, it seems to me everyone I speak to, you were involved in Pokemon, then you went out a bit, and then you came back. Do you think it's crazy how it's got this like magnetic effect
to draw you back to it?
Yeah, like,
with yo-yo, everyone yo-yos.
Yeah, but
like, I'm in again.
But with Pokemon, I think it's so unique. I don't know anything else like that. I think I've seen in other
Digimon.
like Star Wars or Digimon. I feel like people are in it, and then they sell up, and then that's it.
Yeah, and they don't go back.
With Pokemon, like you said, you had a collection and that, and then you kept it, and then you left.
Yeah.
And then you came back and then like, oh, I've got this collection again. Like, you didn't give it up entirely.
I agree. Yeah.
Comics. I think comics is one because like everyone fell out of comics for a while. like anyone who was collecting comics, everyone fell out of comics for a while because comics were
I think like the movies have kind of made comic like Marvel cool again.
Well, they just had a really bad period of like stories as well. DC and Marvel, it was just shocking for like 10 years. And then some of the stuff that's come out recently is so good.
So I've like when I was a kid growing up, I don't know if you remember Fox Kids, the TV. Yeah. So Spider-Man, X-Men were like my two favorite like
you've been watching X-Men recently.
Like, X-Men the animated series, Spider-Man the animated series, absolutely class. But I was never a comic reader as a kid. I would watch the cartoons, but wasn't like massive on comics. It wasn't until DC did their New 52 like launch, which was I want to say 2012.
Yeah,
11,
it was a while ago. Yeah,
that's kind of what got me into comic buying because I was like, oh, this is a jumping on point. Started with DC comics, and then I was able to jump into like Marvel bits as well. But then I got to the point where I was buying so many comics, not getting a chance to read them. I became more of a comic collector than an actual comic fan.
Yeah, you should definitely go into stuff like Comic Storian on YouTube and stuff. They have full storylines where they like talk through all the panels and stuff. So that's what I listen to when I'm driving and stuff. So they'll say the whole of Secret Wars. It's like 3 hours long.
And it's like a movie. I've seen things like
they'll
that.
Just describe it all.
The Star Wars comics. I'm a massive Star Wars fan. So I do a lot of that with the Star Wars. Like I listen to them like when I
we do it sometimes when we're working. We're like
Star Wars comics and there's quite a few of them, isn't there? And then you read the Darth Vader stories.
The Darth Vader ones.
Darth Vader's party palace. You mean? Yeah. His epic party palace. Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoy them though.
It's great. It's great because if you don't have time to physically sit down and read the comic, which is why I stopped buying comics. So I just got into the habit of buying certain comics each month, buying them, not reading them, and then after like 6 months of doing that, I was like, what am I spending my money on kind of thing? Whereas when you're driving, whether it's to work, gym, like whatever you're doing, you can just listen to them.
We don't go to the gym.
When I went to the gym. 7 years ago.
That was a long-ass drive.
Was that to get your membership and then...
I have done that. Yeah, one gym session for 70 quid. Yeah. Because I didn't cancel it the first month.
I'd rather invest in Pokemon cards for that.
Yeah, I definitely should have put that.
But it's great content though. Listen to all those comics and things like that because when you're driving, you can listen to them and then... Yeah, it's just...
I think that's what people do with our videos, especially the Trading Card Talk videos. We've got a lot of comments like, "Oh, it's really good to listen to whilst I was in the bath or something." You're like, okay,
some nice bath time, bath time listening. But no, like, I was saying to you guys earlier, like I'll listen to more of your stuff than I watch.
Yeah,
because
it's
like
we're ugly.
Because you don't go to the gym, so I don't want to look at you. But it's more like because commuting to work, to the office or wherever I'm going, like today, what was a 4-hour plus drive for me kind of thing. So when I were like on long drives, I'll listen to a lot. I very rarely listen to music. I'll listen to podcasts or I'll listen to YouTube videos because it's that kind of thing where, yes, you have opening videos and things like that, but like the more informative content you can just listen to.
I think, well, we were saying about Z&G, weren't we? Like his content's so good just to listen to because it is informative. Yeah, it's correct data as well, but then he also puts a spin on it. Yeah, like I could easily listen to Z&G like most days tonight when we have it in the background if you've not got your music on and singing along. Like I
don't know what you mean.
Yeah, but like that's what we'll listen to. Yeah, and Pokenomics, I think we were talking about as well.
Yeah, so we mentioned this earlier. Like it was a couple of months ago when I was kind of getting back into like the Pokemon YouTube stuff. I don't know how I stumbled across like YouTube's crazy algorithm. Yeah, Z&G came up on me smart TV just randomly, and I literally I think I commented on one of his videos saying, I've just spent the last 4 hours I was watching him on the TV, and on my phone I was on eBay looking at like prices of cards.
Oh, he's just talked about this card.
Like my girlfriend was falling asleep on the couch. I was watching that. I was on eBay, and I literally spent like 4 hours just binge watching like his like backlog of content, and that was like a perfect kind of launch pad, a jumping in point to be like, right, I kind of feel up to speed-ish now after like missing a few years. Yeah. That was like to get me back into it. It just his content was so great, but it's like that thing where he was on in the background, but I don't have to actually watch it. Yeah, I was on my phone, and you can just take the information in as to what you're saying. And what you mentioned there with Pokenomics, Jake and Rafi, again, he's another one that I very rarely watch. Yeah, I'll listen to when I'm driving to work, and then like on lunch, I'll go out of my way to load YouTube up so I can go and comment on his video because it's like that was a good video. I don't just want to listen to it and not comment on it kind of thing. So later on in the day, it's like I'll go back and like drop a comment or something.
It's all about gaining that knowledge in trading cards. Like that's kind of what the trading card talk is as well. For it's to build your knowledge whenever you're thinking about buying a card, thinking about selling a card. Like sometimes on the investment side of things as well. or it's just to give you more of an insight into the community as a whole.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the fun thing, is you can listen to other YouTubers and you can gain their knowledge, and then we'll just do the same video again and copy their content.
Yeah. Thanks, C&G.
That's basically my channel. How did you know that?
Yeah. But we see a lot of cards, and we have a lot of people talk to us about cards and prices and everything like that. So we kind of have a slightly different perspective to most people.
Yeah.
But if you bounce off a few different channels, that's it. You become well-rounded.
I think that's the best thing to do, because at the end of the day, as good as Z&G or a Pokenomics or you guys are, it kind of boils down to opinion.
Yeah.
Like every single one of these YouTubers always starts by saying, "I'm not a financial expert. I'm not giving you financial. This is my opinion," kind of thing. So all you can, and to be honest, nobody can 100% say Hidden Fate is going to go up by 10 times.
Well, surely
over the next...
you have messages from people saying, "Oh, should I buy this? Should I do that?"
Instagram all the time. Yeah.
So surely you just can't go, "Yes, you should buy that." Because imagine if
unless it's off me, in which case,
then buy it all. Buy it all.
I had it as 30 grand for an booster pack.
I reckon you could buy this and sell it double next day. It's very difficult to be in a position where you go, "That's definitely going to happen."
You can't, and I think so. I come from a marketing my job is marketing and SEO. You may know about SEO if you come from marketing. Yeah,
Connor actually is the SEO king.
So if someone guarantees you results in SEO and says, "I will get you to rank one of Google," straight away, do not give that person your money, because no one can guarantee you that. And it's the same with Pokemon.
Actually, we work at Google, so my uncle works at Google and he can get you number one. Yeah.
Every kid in my school had an uncle that worked in the Pokemon card
Yeah,
factory.
weird. Me too.
Get Charizard, you get all the Japanese cards. Crazy. Yeah. But those kids would never bring them into school.
Yeah.
The mum wouldn't let them bring the Charizard to school.
I always got friends to get banned off PSN because everyone I faced in Call of Duty, all of their family members worked.
Yeah.
At EA and stuff as well. So
just crazy. But going back to that, I think it's just opinion, and no one can say yes, it would be nice to say, "Oh, Hidden Fates is the popular one at the minute. In 10 years from now, they're going to be worth £1,000 a tin."
Yeah.
We can't tell you that. I can guess that. I might be right. I might be wrong.
Oh, we was thinking about getting a prop crystal ball.
Just asking that.
Yeah,
Mystic Meg was it from the lottery from the lottery days?
But we was like, nah, because people might take it seriously. Because, as you said, if you're just listening to that and we're joking around visually, how do you know that we're making a gag out of it?
That's the thing, especially like you guys that you were saying earlier, that you get a lot of questions, and because you're kind of trusted within the community or within the niche or within the hobby or whatever. So people are coming to you asking, people hold value in what you guys say. So I think when you're in that kind of position as well, it's more important to be transparent and say, look, what I'm telling you isn't facts.
Yeah.
It's just literally my guess. And some people's opinions kind of carry more weight than others if they've got if they've been around the hobby for longer, if they've got more knowledge, if they've got more research, that's going to be more valuable than my dad, who knows nothing about Pokemon, saying, "Oh, they're worthless," because they are worth something. So you kind of have to go by, what someone's standing is, or how much they kind of doing, or what the history is. So some people will have a, a more valid or credible opinion, but I think it's important to kind of say
it is still an opinion.
It's an opinion,
Yeah. So it doesn't matter how long you've been in the game for, you can still be wrong. I make wrong calls. Team Up, I told him,
because I literally was like, buy Team Up, and you were like, no, they're going to be shit.
I think I've heard you saw this in a video before,
okay.
So I was like, obviously I've been right about some of the
some great things, and sometimes you just don't see the.
Yeah, but there's no way. I don't think anyone predicted what's happened in the last 3 months in Pokemon.
In prices now.
No.
I think if you go back to this time last year, when Hidden Fate release was a September time, November time?
September, I think, yeah.
I don't think anyone in September would have thought this set in the year from now is going to be as popular as it is.
No, everyone saw it and was like, "Oh, shiny Charizard, that'll bang, that'll be the card." But it's weird because every shiny GX bangs.
In hindsight, like we were saying now with the Bitcoin, in hindsight we can go, "Oh, I knew Hidden Fate was going to be popular. That's why I bought cases full of it." You didn't. If you're saying that now a year on, you're lying because you want to try and create a good impression or try and make it look like you've got more knowledge than what you have. You don't know that at the time. No one would have thought that were Hidden Fates. No one.
I keep nearly bunching the microphone off with that, so I'm going to cause an injury to myself as well. I'm like, boom.
Going back to 10 years ago, 12 years ago when I got back into collecting, I wasn't buying to invest then because I didn't know that legendary collection we were talking about earlier, the booster box.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, if I sit on this for 12 years, it's going to be worth 15 grand.
How would you have a clue?
You wouldn't at all.
No, that's I guess that's the case for now as well. I think just because the prices have increased the way they have, that's not a trend liner to be like that's the way it's going to go.
That's going to be forever. Yeah, it can't.
Years.
Like if you look at the prices, what seems I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the thing that I'm seeing, especially on Facebook groups, is an item sells, let's say, for argument's sake, £100. So then the next day, someone posts they've got the same item to sell, and they want £130 for it.
Yeah.
The last one sold for £100, so this one is now going to go up. And it's like a market can't work like that.
No,
just because an item sells for £100 one day doesn't mean it's then up by £30, then another 30.
Yeah.
It can't. It seems like that's what has happened over the past few months with some cards and some products, but it can't keep going like that forever. It just can't.
I think the thing is, if there are enough people willing to just keep it no matter the price, and there's not that much supply of it, then it could keep doing that until you get to a price where you're like, well, I have to sell it.
Yeah.
And then what potentially could happen is like 5 people have the same idea at exactly the same time,
and they've all go on the market at the same time, and then actually this isn't worth as much because there's 5 to buy from.
Exactly. Whereas if there's only 1 to buy from, you can name your price. Whereas if there's 5 on the market at the same time, you can't. Shiny Charizard First Edition is a really good example. I think 6 months ago there was 6 or 7 available to buy. Yes, there was still 2-3 grand, but you could negotiate with every single buyer.
Yeah.
When I bought mine, I negotiated with 5 different people. But now there's one.
They had a fight to death to sell to him. That's a true fact.
I negotiate like an idiot. So if I was selling,
you want £100 for it? He's 150.
Yeah.
No, if he was on, there's a car channel called VinWiki. Watch Ed Bolian on that on how to negotiate because that's what he does.
Yeah.
He goes, I'll give you £3. It's like, but it's up for £100. It's like I'll meet you in the middle at £3, and then for some reason you sell to him.
To be fair, I'm more like
he's good at it.
I kind of do lowball offers because I always think if somebody, especially if it's like a higher price product. Yeah. If someone's, I don't want to say desperate to sell, but if someone needs to sell an item, they can't, in my opinion, can't command the market value. Yeah. Because if you have a booster box for, let's say, £5,000, there's not a load of people with £5,000 to go and buy in a booster box because, £5,000's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yes, the past couple of months, a lot have been selling, but it's easier to sell a £10 card than a £5,000 box of cards. So if I'm a seller and I have a box and let's say I don't know the boiler's broke, I need £2,000 to fix it, I've short on money, I'll sell me Pokemon cards. £5,000, a week passes, no one's bought it, you're like, I need this £2,000.
It's very cold in my house.
Someone like me could then be like, oh well, it's on for £5,000, I'll give you £4,200. But the last one sold for £4,800. I'll give you £4,200. No mate, it's too low. Okay, no worries.
Yeah.
An hour later, 2 hours later, what about 4,600? So if someone peaks then, straight away it's like, right, this guy's willing to negotiate. I might not get for 4,200. I might have to go to 4,400.
Yeah.
But it's down £600 from his. I did it recently with the Jungle Booster box I bought. The guy wanted X amount for it. He knocked 150 off for me, but wouldn't go any lower. I was like, it doesn't matter, I'll leave it. Literally an hour later, I had the deal in place, and the next day I went and picked it up.
That's so sick.
And it's like.
But that's the thing. Market prices aren't set in stone.
No, they're
not. Just
not.
because someone on eBay is just saying they bought it for that much. I mean, how many eBay listings are there that just said this listing has ended?
Yeah.
How many have been like best offer?
Shilled.
Like, there's so much uncertainty with those prices. You can only really believe the prices that happened.
Yeah. If you've bought something, or if you sold, or if you have a real life friend or something that you really trust who knows, like
real life friends.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Or if you're competing with
an acquaintance, maybe.
But if I'm going after the same card you are, then we're competing and we're going to have to push our prices higher to try and get the
card. If we both really want these same cards, if you want it more than me, you're going to be, I'll give you an extra £1. Give you an extra £10. Like, you're going to go up and up until you reach that point where it's like, you can't, like we were talking about with cars earlier, like it hits a point where I can afford this item, but can I justify this amount I'm spending on it? Like, do I really want to spend this much money on like a card? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, for sure.
You can go and spend like, I don't know, use a base set Charizard for an example. £100 isn't like a massive. It's a good chunk of money, but it's not a massive amount of money.
Not in the scene, yeah.
But £100, it's maybe like, right, it's £100, and if you want that card, yes, I can afford it. But do I just kind of justify that on that card? Kind of, there's two different things, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Like I've said before, if I saw a basic first edition PSA 10, I'd be like, oh my god, that is so sick. But I wouldn't want it.
Yeah,
I don't want to spend $75,000 on a card.
Yeah,
To me, that's crazy.
Even if like you had hundreds of thousands in the bank, if you look at that as like, right, that's X% of my total wealth. When you think about it like that, it's like that's a lot of money to be paying on a Pokemon card.
Yeah, like I'd want everything. I'd want the weird stuff as well. Like if I can have every Harry Potter piece of merchandise on a wall or one card, or if I can have every Pokemon game sealed, or if I can have all of, say, the Neo sets, PSA 10s, why would I buy one card?
Yeah, when you can have a grander collection to look at rather than just a single item. I think you're right. Like, you might have a person who has less money in the bank than somebody else, but they want that more, so they would spend a higher percentage of their wealth to get that. Whereas you'll have someone who just maybe has more money but think it's not worth it. So again, like when you come into that buying and selling, yes, there's a market value you can go by as a guide or an average, but the ultimate price comes down to what somebody's willing to sell it for and what someone's willing to pay it for. Like, going back to that boiler breaking example, if you need money now, then you're going to sell it for less. Yeah, if you've got 50 grand in the bank, then it's like, I don't need to sell it. I'll sit on the cards.
I'll sort the boiler out with that.
Exactly.
And then I'll keep my booster and I'll wait until someone pays what I want for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it comes down to, like a lot of factors as to what kind of dictates the price.
No, it does. I would always suggest, if you are in the game, in the Pokemon investing, I would always suggest to make sure that you easily afford it.
Yeah,
like
100%.
I think there are, unfortunately, some people who get caught out because they buy a card and it doesn't hit the next level, and then they're stuck with the card and they can only sell it. But then you've got transaction fees to worry about.
Don't buy a card if you're going to try and flip it. Immediately.
Yeah. But
if you want,
the value otherwise. But if you're
don't blow your budget if you're going to try and flip it.
Perfect.
That's
and your budget is independent to you. Like,
100%.
Someone might have a budget of £100. Some might have a budget of £100,000. Like, that's kind of irrelevant.
Yeah.
Like, yes, the guy with the bigger budget can go and buy more cards or better cards or more expensive cards. But what you said there is exactly right. Like, work within your budgets. Don't spend, if you know you can only spend £100 that month on Pokemon cards, let's say, don't on July the 1st go and buy one card for £100, because next week you might see 2 or 3 cards come up for 20-30 quid each that you really want, but it's like, well, I've blew me money.
So
then do you then
sell the £100 card for £80 to buy those,
and you've lost
because eBay's took 10%, PayPal's took a few percent. So like, you're already like, what
unless you can like buy something and then comfortably sit on it, knowing that there's something else that you want, then I would 100% say don't be blowing your budgets, and it'll make collecting more fun as well, because as soon as you start buying cards and think, I've got to sell this, like, it just takes the fun away.
It's stressful. Like, especially if there's no buyers out there. Like, if someone's done and they've taken 20 quid above market value, but you've gone, it should be worth more, you've got no disposable income there. It's stressful to then try and sell that card. And like you said, you can smell it. You as a buyer, you can smell it. I can smell it. I can smell when someone's like,
you can smell.
Yeah, I can smell. But like, you can smell it as a buyer, and how desperate a seller is to get rid of an item.
And you kind of have to, like, that's part of the game. It's like, as a seller, you want to get as much money as possible. As a buyer, you want to get it for as cheap as possible. And then those individual circumstances kind of dictate, like, well, am I desperate for that card? If the seller knows I'm desperate for it, the seller can command more if he can sit on it. If I'm a buyer and I know that seller has a bill to pay or whatever it is, then they want to sell it quick, and that obviously affects the price.
That definitely kind of happened with your Mew, didn't it? Like, there was those not ancient Mews, the Pop Series 5 Hollow Mews that were like stupid money, but you were like, I don't need it that much. And then one day you picked it up off a like Swedish eBay site thing, like auction site. And it was the right price. You didn't need it day one for 3 times the amount it was worth.
No, exactly. And that's what you mean. You got to be careful when you're buying or selling. Well, you found that one. It was on a Swedish site.
Yeah, I am literally the weirdest hunter of things in the world. I'll find it anywhere. I don't care where it is.
Like,
if it's top 0, I'll find one.
Find them. Kill them.
But I have a thing for using the internet to my advantage.
But I normally go after obscure stuff. So I'm going after these Pop 1 promos at the moment. And by the time...
one's Pop 2. And you actually know the person that has it now?
Yes. But that's still a negotiation. So please don't get 5 minutes into this video.
However, we have Shreddy on our side now.
Wait for his boiler to break, and then you can swoop in and buy it.
Just be around there with a hammer.
Oh, what? Oh, I don't know what happened.
Your boiler's broken. Oh, well, I'll repair it.
Negotiation 101.
Break people's boilers.
Please don't go and do that. Like,
no. Not legal advice, guys. How many times?
Not financial advice, not legal advice. Just 3 idiots here. Don't listen to us. just grade your card with these guys. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, thank you very much. And make sure to go and subscribe over here.
Yeah.
Like, right here. You know, the big guy in the middle.
Right
yeah.
But you've been doing some interesting content at the Hidden Fates reprint.
Yeah.
Which was pretty cool. I watched that one.
Yeah.
Also buying obscene amount of things. You opened £1,000 worth of vintage stuff buying recently?
So, actually, the mail day video. Yeah. So, like I say, like, I'm a vintage collector really because I collect for nostalgia.
Yeah, hipster.
Some of the new hipster, yeah, so, old man. Some of the new cards though do like we were talking about it earlier, like I don't know what they're called, like the full art Venusaur EXs.
Yeah, from Evolution.
You look at like I'll see a video of someone pulling a Blastoise, Venusaur and Blastoise are the two that stand out. So they look like if I was a 10-year-old kid again opening that, my mind would be blown because the cards look sick. And then the price comes on the screen of the YouTuber who's opened it. It's like £1.40, and it's like what? Like the pack cost £4, £3.50,
and that was
it's like pull. The best pull. That looks sick. Like you're not really going to get much better in that set in terms of art. £1.40.
It's the Dragonite that always gets me because it looks like a Dragonite. You know, in the anime when you had the lighthouse and the massive Dragonite.
Yes,
you see
the massive
Dragonite full art card. It's worthless. It's
crazy.
It's not worthless, but it's nothing compared to a base set card or something.
Like you'd look at one of them cards and think, right, that's going to be worth something. It's literally, I've seen like that Venusaur £1.40, and it's like, what is going on? It's crazy. But yeah, like I'm more of a vintage collector for those nostalgic reasons. And yeah, that video that you're on about, it was like I got 4 Gym Hero decks sealed. So at the minute, what I'm looking to do to kind of complete me WotC collection, at least Unlimited's collection, is get sealed booster box of most of the sets. Some of them are just too expensive, like the Neo, Revelation, and Destiny. I think are like the 2 really. I'm not buying a legendary collection box back either. I'm not. When I saw one for £200, I'm not paying $15,000 to buy that box back. So I know I don't want that.
Rather invest it in a time machine.
Yeah. But like, there's the sealed stuff I want. So I got the Gym Hero decks. There was a starter set. I think it was a rocket deck. And that was like a good chunk of money, like all in one kind of. They came in the space like 2 days or something, so that was like a pretty cool video to do. And as you mentioned, the Hidden Fates stuff. See, I'm trying to do like a mix of the vintage stuff. Like I kind of set the channel up as the Pokemon videos to kind of show. Like I sort of like show and tell would kind of be the best. Like, do you ever show and tell in school when you're in like year 1 or year 2, and like you bring your toys and show them off and talk about them kind of thing? It was that kind of thing, but for like the older vintage like cards and sets that I've got. And then as I've been a bit more involved in the YouTube community and Instagram, and like I've stumbled across guys like you, Z and G, Pokenomics, like that's kind of the content that's clicking with me. And I think I can kind of bring a different perspective to it because I've got experience from that cheap period between 2008 and 2013.
Like I said, it's opinions. Why not add your opinion?
Another opinion, exactly. Yeah.
I feel like there's no harm in that.
So I've been kind of trying to like have a mix of that, and then some of the modern stuff I've kind of purely because of Instagram, I think, and seeing people open on YouTube. I'm looking at them thinking, that would be cool to get. It's not if a WotC box is costing $5-6 and you can go and buy a modern day box for like 90 quid, 80 quid at retail. It's like, actually, these cards look pretty cool. I'll go and spend 80 quid. I'll have fun opening them. I might get a cool card out of it. It's content for YouTube. And it's just having that fun. Like the Sword and Shield tin I was telling you about the other day, the pulls on that were crap. They're absolutely awful, terrible. But it's the first time I'd opened cards in like 9 years. It was a 13 quid. It was just so fun. It was. I got not a single holo card, but it was so much fun opening. So then I think it was one day this week I was in game and they had like 2 Unified Minds Elite Trainer boxes, 30 quid each. I think the retail for like 42, 50 or something. I don't know if is that out of print, that set now. I'm not sure.
It's
I literally know nothing about the sets other than it had a Mew and a Mewtwo on the on the cover, and I was like, that's only 30 quid down from 42.50. I'll buy 2. They had 2 left in stock, so I bought 2. I'll probably just open one of them on the channel. Might keep the other one sealed, might open it.
We actually got the gold version from the Tag Team GX Japanese box, but that is the secret rare
in Unified Minds. So the English version.
The normal version is the gold rare, which we're hopefully getting in a holiday set this year. We're hoping the holiday set this year brings in some of the gold cards. But yeah, there's a Reshiram and Charizard, a Mewtwo and Mew, and a few others that come in the gold format.
I think I've seen the Reshiram and is that in Unified Minds or?
So the Reshiram Charizard is from Unbroken Bonds, but the gold card hopefully will come out in September. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
But then I think I did a video on it yesterday. The Champions Path Elite Trainer box looks sick. Like,
yeah, it does look.
So I made a video on that. I think I'd seen on Instagram. Got a video up quickly about it, and I'm just enjoying. Like, surprisingly, I'm enjoying the modern stuff. Even though I'm not a massive buyer of it, I kind of feel like I'm being drawn into it again just because of that nostalgia has hooked me back in.
Yeah.
And then I'm seeing like so many people on Instagram and YouTube. And I'm seeing the cards look sick. It's like, right, I want to get into that. Nice. They're a clever company because they hook us when we were kids.
Yeah.
And then we're back now as like...
Oh, you're addicted, aren't you?
Yeah.
Oh, and they keep putting in that old stuff as well. Like, every set has a Charizard.
Evolution's perfect example. Think how many people came back to the hobby because of that set.
Many. And then Hidden Fates after that. Like, you've got, Shiny Charizard.
Shiny Mewtwo.
Oh, crazy.
I think growing up, people our age, the most popular Pokemon... Pikachu, obviously, because it's Pikachu.
I love Pikachu.
But then outside of that, I think probably Charizard and Mewtwo were the two popular Pokemon. Because those were like, you had Charizard on the front of the box of the Pokemon Reds.
Yeah.
He was a popular character in the anime because Ash had him as like, he was a bit of a dick, wasn't he? His Charizard was like...
There's a theory about that. Ash hadn't got enough gym badges to train him.
That's what it is. Yeah.
So he just didn't listen.
Yeah.
Because he listened as Charmeleon and Charmander.
And that reflects... I think Charmeleon was a bit of a dick, though, as well.
Yeah, a little bit. Not as much.
But I think it was because he was over-leveled, so kind of everything in the anime bled, obviously, into the game. Like, I don't know, the anime was kind of a tutorial for the game, in a way.
Yeah.
Like, or at least it had a lot of things in there.
Oh,
yeah.
Like,
that's why they're the biggest media franchise ever.
There you go. You've got the animes, you've got the games, you've got the TCG.
Merch.
And some people are just involved in one of the niches.
Yeah.
And then other people are, like, branched.
Everything,
the whole thing, and... Like, that's kind of the interesting thing about Pokemon is you don't necessarily need to like the TCG to enjoy Pokemon. You don't necessarily need to like the games.
Well, I was solely in games.
I
was solely in games up until about 2.5 years ago.
Yeah. Until I asked you to join.
Yeah, like, I played with the cards a little bit as a kid, but I've played the games pretty much religiously. Yeah.
I think for me it started with the cartoon was like the big thing. And then the game. It was like the cartoon and then the game. The game, I spent so much of my childhood playing that game. Then the cards came out.
Yeah.
They were $2.50 a pack. So it's like you get your couple of quid pocket money as a kid, walk down the corner shop, buy it, and then it's like, even if like I remember when I was a kid, I'd buy like a pack a week.
Yeah.
And like you see, YouTube was £2.49 a pack.
Like
but like how expensive they seemed. I was like,
oh yeah, as a kid,
can do that or I can eat.
Yeah, as a kid, it was like you look back now, it's like if I had $2.50 now, it's like booster packs so $3.99 RRP.
Yeah.
But back then it was like $2.49. But as a 10-year-old kid, 9-year-old kid, 8-year-old kids, that's a lot of money. So you used to have like, unless it was a birthday or Christmas and you had like spare money. It was like your pocket money, you would get one, maybe 2 packs a week. And now you see YouTube was opening, like, we were talking about it earlier.
Yeah.
Opening 1,000 packs of Hidden Fates.
Hidden Fates, yeah.
I remember my parents not buying me Pokemon because they thought it was a waste of money.
Right.
But obviously that's only made me want it more. But they'd be like, well, I'm not buying you printed cards.
Yeah, it's just crazy,
like, They were like, that's a total waste of money, so here's a remote control car instead.
And then when you do get your money, you just go and buy the Pokemon cards anyway, yeah?
You was given a remote control car and you didn't start driving until last year. So that's the reverse effect. You weren't like Pokemon cards and you're like, give me all the Pokemon cards ever.
Yeah.
But you were given cards and you're like, I don't care about them.
Yeah. That's interesting how
the psychology
plays a part in that as well. Yeah, it is psychological. We're all just messes at heart.
Whereas I had a weird psychological effect on me. My mom used to give me like, you know the Nintendo magazines and stuff?
Yeah.
And then I had to like save my own money for the games that were in there.
Yeah.
So she was like, yeah, learn about money this way. And I was like, oh, just give me the bloody game.
I remember buying Wind Waker for the GameCube.
Oh, it's so good.
It was like, I was looking forward to it. Put the pre-order down. It was like £5 to like kind of put your pre-order. Then every week was get me pocket money, giving it back to me mum and dad, like that's me Zelda money. My dad went and picked it up for me when I was at school. Instead of it being 30 quid, it was like 40. It was an extra £10 over what games were at the time. My dad came home with the game for me, but he absolutely bollocked me because he thought I'd conned him on purpose. And I was like, well, I didn't know it was going to be £10 more. So he thought I was trying to pull a fast one on him.
No, I've given you this back and it's incurred interest over time in the bank of mum and dad.
I got the game, but my dad was like, I'm never doing this again for you. Threw it at me. And I was just like, we walked away and I was like so excited about Zelda. Yeah. But it was just like, what you said there about like, you'd get the magazine, but you couldn't afford the game. So you had to wait so long. I think it took me like 8 weeks or 10 weeks to buy like Wind Waker when I was a kid.
The GameCube I got was the Zelda edition. It had the original games. It had the demo for Wind Waker.
Oh,
I never wanted a game so much after playing that demo. I was like, I need this.
Yeah.
I need it.
They're very clever, Nintendo. I think we can all agree with that.
Well, not just Pokemon, but Nintendo. It's that nostalgia as well.
Yeah.
It's like we grew up with all this stuff. It's like what you were saying earlier, like there's other franchises where you maybe grow out of it and you never return back to it.
Yeah.
Whereas Pokemon, it's that thing of like, you like it as a kid, then you maybe go to high school or secondary school and it's like, oh, Pokemon's not cool for a few years. Yeah. But then when you're like a mid-teenager, it's like, I can do what I want, I like what I want, I'm going to go back to Pokemon.
To be fair, we were always Pokemon nerds at school.
Yeah, but I definitely fell out of it, like especially with the TCG.
I suppose you did more, but like one of our, so me and Connor went to school together. And we also went to school with Phil, who literally had his career in YouTube and Pokemon.
Right.
So me and him would spend like pretty much every day playing Pokemon games. I never really fell out of it. Everyone else did, but
I think it's a bit odd that I've ended up in my position, considering you and Phil were the ones.
Well, I'm still in Pokemon. Phil's still in Pokemon. Like,
yeah,
maybe you copied us in the end.
Did better at it though.
I can tell by the size of you. Yeah. But yeah, it's all very Pokemon in our entire friendship group. I think it's always been the mainstay for us. Nothing else stuck like Pokemon did.
I think for me, like at least like my school and my friends and things like that. When I first went to secondary school, which like you're 11-year-old-ish, 11-year-old, yeah. So I was still collecting cards then, but it was like not cool to take your Pokemon. Like I remember I had a Pikachu pencil case in primary school, and my mum and dad were like, "You probably don't want to take that secondary school with you because the older kids will like look at you and laugh at you and things like that."
But the older kids would be like, "Oh, it's sick."
Yeah.
But in their heads, they would have been thinking that.
Yeah.
But like outside the mouth, like, you look.
Yeah. So it was that thing where it's like I was at school and it's like you kind of had to hide that you're a Pokemon fan. Because I stopped collecting as a kid. It was around at the time of like Legendary Collection, because I remember seeing them booster packs in the shops and I was still buying cards then. So that was 2002. And then that's when I kind of fell out with Pokemon, because I think it was just bought. Like, even though I went to secondary school, it wasn't like, oh, Pokemon's not cool, because I still bought Pokemon and things like that. I think for me it was just like, I'm a bit bored of Pokemon now.
Everyone was getting ROMs on their phones as well.
But then what happened? Well, with Instagram and stuff, and Facebook and YouTube, like you're saying, like it's just brought the community a lot tighter.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, oh, I've got what's cool stuff. Like we haven't met most people that watch these videos. But they, they obviously feel a connection to us, and when we message them and stuff, like as you do,
it's a that's like exactly what you summed up there. Is I set me Pokemon Instagram up. It was during lockdown, so it wasn't like it was only a few months ago when I set it up. But I'd been part of some of the Facebook Pokemon groups for like years, literally for years, but never really active in them. But since setting up the Pokemon like Instagram, and you're kind of speaking to like-minded people, like, are you seeing their posts, and then you get chatting to them, like you kind of make those friendships with people who there's be certain people I might speak to. Not necessarily every day, but a couple of times a week. It's like I've never met that person.
Especially if that person's got the same kind of collecting interest as you, like the specific set or something. You're like, I'm just going to chat every day.
Yeah, you've got like you've got that common thing to talk about, and then that might span off into just talking about like general life stuff, and then you kind of make a friend online that you've never met before. It might be someone in America that I'm never going to meet, but someone that like you have that common interest with.
Yeah, sure.
And then before you know, if you're on Instagram for like a few months, and then maybe a few years, you've got like dozens of people who you kind of have them like friendships with. It's crazy.
You started off with quite a lot of friends who were collecting the same sets as you, right? Like the primes and stuff, Delta Species.
It's very close knit community on Instagram. Originally, it was very close knit. Like you knew everyone.
Yeah.
But now obviously it's branched out and it's like far too big for anyone to imagine. But like that is the main point of Instagram, I think.
Yeah.
Is that you came on like hot, didn't you, when you came into the
I guess
stuff. And like obviously when you first showed me Facebook and stuff, like obviously a lot of people took interest in what you had.
It's unusual to see a Pokemon fan that literally looks like a macho, because
I think that was one of the first posts I might have put on my Instagram. Actually, it was someone had like photoshopped my face onto a Machamp's body or something. It was pretty cool.
I didn't even know it was Photoshop.
That was pretty cool though.
I had a Snorlax.
Yeah. What would I have been? There's a question. Let's see how much you can insult me in a single Pokemon.
I can't be too mean. I was going to say Rattata, but that's just harsh.
Brilliant. I like it. Mr. Mime?
That was super effective.
Yeah.
Might be a bit harsh. I don't actually know what Pokemon you'd be.
Is there a Pokemon with glasses? I don't think there is. I don't think there is.
I think you could be right.
Yeah, I don't know what Pokemon you'd be.
Just wait for Gen 7 or Gen 8 or what gen are we on now?
Oh, we're on Gen 8.
Gen 8. No, or Gen 9 then.
Yeah, maybe Gen 9 they'll have a Tomamon.
I don't actually. Yeah, I have no idea. Magnemite, maybe, because you like computers.
Oh yeah, I am basically a computer, is what you're saying.
Like you
there.
could have your head with the 2 magnets.
Oh, it could be Genesect. He's a robot.
Yeah,
he's literally a robot.
What's the new Pokédex? Is it the Rotom?
Oh yeah, Rotom.
There you go.
There you go.
I'll be Rotom.
There you go.
I'm going to call myself Sparky.
Snorlax and Rotom.
Dropping all this modern knowledge on the channel.
I like this. I like comparing us to Pokemon. Maybe we should do that with every guest. We should compare every guest to a Pokemon.
Yeah, but I don't want to offend.
No, we're going to do it. We're going to do it now.
Every Pokemon fan ever, Snorlax. So I'm joking.
No, I don't think you are. I'm just looking at Connor. I'll say that just to be mean. But yeah, it's a right weird old time in the Pokemon community. Everything's going crazy fast and everyone's loving each other a lot.
Yeah, and I'd say even today, you coming down, like, literally, it was a few Instagram messages exchanged.
Yeah.
We've had a really good chat for about 10 hours now.
Yeah.
But, like, it's so easy to talk to you. And, like, you must have thought the same. It must have been, like, what is actually going to happen? I'm making all this effort to drive down.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's coming from wrestling as well. It's a similar kind of thing. Like, everyone in wrestling, or who wrestles or whatever, they all have that common love of wrestling. So it's like you have at least one thing in common to talk to someone about. So coming here, it was like, right, we're coming to do a Pokemon, but I was like, right, what's it going to be? What's the setup like? Where's it going to be? And you always, like, whenever you meet anyone new, there's always that, like, little bit of, like, not anxiety, but it's like that.
Are they
anxiousness, maybe? Who knows? But there's like that anxiousness of like, oh, are you going to get it? Is it going to be awkward silences?
Yeah.
But it's literally like, all right, you like Pokemon cards, I like Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
And then literally like, I don't know what the time is now, but I must have been here for
11:00.
4 hours, maybe 3 hours, or at least 3 hours.
Yeah.
We've pretty much been talking Pokemon. And it's like, and that came off literally a couple of Instagram messages and me watching a couple of videos.
Yeah.
And then it's like led to this.
Yeah, and then we've talked about other stuff from that as well. So that's one of the nice things.
And it's like spans off.
You're lucky I haven't started talking about wrestling yet, because I'll go on for days. he doesn't like me talking about wrestling.
We were talking about cars earlier, like, just all sorts. You were showing me magic tricks earlier as well, all sorts of stuff.
I can kind of get cars. I kind of get. Wrestling, I've never got.
No, yeah.
Did you not like it when you were a kid either? Or?
No.
It's
probably one of those things Mum and Dad banned me from.
I've probably not. I think it's been like since I started going to gym that I haven't really watched it as much. But even then, like I keep signing up for WWE Network for things like WrestleMania, Royal Rumble. I'm like, I want this.
Yeah.
Every time.
The network as well is great for like, it's a bit like that Pokemon thing where it's the nostalgia of like, you have a lot of people who maybe don't watch wrestling now, or they say, I don't like wrestling. But then the next sentence out of the mouth is, oh, do you remember The Undertaker when he did? So when he came back as the biker, or do you remember when The Rocker like threw it into Continental Belt?
Or Mick Foley got threw off.
It's always like everyone, like it's very rare that I come across someone who says they don't like wrestling, but then they don't have a memory of wrestling, like whether it's an older brother watching it or the dad watched it, or they're just
just doing it in like we used to do it in the garden and stuff, where you'd be like, oh, I'm definitely going to try this move that he says, do not try at home. Oh, someone's got a broken arm, let's go hospital. But yeah, so I think everyone loves everything and just doesn't like to admit some of
I think
stuff.
That's what it is. I think like people, whether it's embarrassment or they're like, oh, that's not cool, or like we're 20, 30-year-old guys talking about, kids Pokemon cards, and this is what this is just what we enjoy doing.
I guess the lessons learned from that is like, if anyone watching this, like, don't worry about it.
Like,
honestly,
it doesn't matter what you like.
There's thousands of people out there, tens of thousands, who enjoy it too, and who can literally just talk in a mic and just talk about it.
I come from a massive family. Like, I'm one of 7 kids. All my brothers and sisters say to me, I'm stupid for like when I was a kid. Oh, Pokemon, like what you doing? Like even when I was like getting back into Pokemon when I was in uni, like. It doesn't matter what other people think, because they'll have stuff that I don't like. And so it's like, whatever you like, just don't care what other people think. Like, as long as you're not being a dick about it, or as long as you're not like hurting anyone doing whatever you're doing, just if you enjoy something.
If you like murdering cats,
probably maybe
go and see someone.
That's you.
No, birds. They keep hitting me.
Oh yeah, birds keep accidentally flying in front of your driving.
Yeah, they do.
So
accidental.
But no, like do what you want, guys. Have fun. If you like a specific thing, like I know I joked earlier about Digimon, but if you're massively into Digimon, I love that cartoon.
When I was a kid, I remember getting the Digimon, like the Digivice. Like,
I've got all the Digivices.
I remember walking to the cinema with, it was at the time, it was my brother's girlfriend and her nephew, I think it was. She took us to go and see Digimon. We walked to the cinema. She couldn't drive to go and see the film. Like, I loved Digimon when I was a kid. It's not had the same connection, of like, it's not drawn me back in like Pokemon has, But as a kid, I went through a period where I absolutely loved Digimon.
If they released a new banger of a game, I'd be all over that.
There's always games coming out, but like they're never like if you go on the PlayStation Store.
Yeah.
But it's like I think
I want a good one.
That's a good example of something against Pokemon though that doesn't have that magnetism.
Yeah, Digimon came first.
Yeah, but you have that nostalgia feeling, but it doesn't have that magnetism to bring you back in.
Yeah, it's like I look back now and I think, when I was a kid I loved Digimon, but I have zero temptations to. There was a new anime that brought it, which I was watching a little bit of, but it didn't hook me to like Dragon Ball Z. We were talking about earlier when Super came out. Yeah. I was, I watched as far as I could with the Japanese dubs before like it kind of took a break or whatever. Then when it took a break, I've not jumped back on board with it. But it's not like I chose to stop watching it because I got bored of it.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball is another thing where it's like the nostalgia always brings me back into it. But for some reason, Digimon. There's games still coming out.
I go back and watch the Digimon like the first couple of seasons pretty much every year.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Is something that I'm like that with.
Yu-Gi-Oh's
I can go back and watch the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Was it GX or Jewel Academy after?
I think it's Jewel Academy,
sure. I've tried watching them, but because I don't have that nostalgia for them, I'm like, I can't remember this. Whereas the first, I think it's like 200 episodes maybe of Yu-Gi-Oh! I can go back and it's one of those things I'll always go back and rewatch.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a very odd anime. There's so many episodes, and so many of the episodes. I think.
I'm sorry, are you comparing this to Dragon Ball?
No, but I don't
trillion
know that much
episodes
about
Dragon Ball.
I watch Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
So with Yu-Gi-Oh! Like there's 4. It's one battle, and it's 4 episodes, right?
Yeah.
Like,
that's like Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball is like 9 episodes.
Yeah.
Like I think there's a
next time on Dragon Ball.
There's like the Frieza Goku fight where Frieza says like you got 5 the running gag where like Frieza says a line like in 5 minutes the planet's going to be destroyed. 9 minutes later, which is 20 minutes an episode, they're still fighting and the planet hasn't blown up. So I think Dragon Ball's even worse than Yu-Gi-Oh! For that.
Yu-Gi-Oh's mental though. Like, do you remember the Yu-Gi-Oh! Cartoon? So Kaiba wanted the blue eyes, and he just like threatened to kill everyone who didn't sell him. He was like, "I will kill you for that card."
That's like a kid now wanting the Shining Charizard from Hidden Fates, and be like, "Don't give it me, I'm going to kill you." That's literally the same.
When does it come into crime? When does Pokemon come into organised crime? That's trading card thought for the future.
That's literally the same example.
That would definitely not get monetized ever. Organised crime in Pokemon cards.
Team Rockets. Team
brilliant!
Rockets.
Yeah,
there you go.
Well, they do include it in their game.
We went to the Pokemon Center in London when it opened.
I've seen you post about this.
There was a family. It was so cute. There was a mom and dad and a little child that could like just about walk, and they were dressed as Jessie, James, and Meow.
Yeah,
and it was just so cool to see that kind of stuff.
That mom and dads will have been grown up fans of Pokemon, and like look at what they're doing. They're passing that on to their kid.
And that kid probably had no idea what a Meowth was. Yeah, it couldn't. It like literally barely walk.
Yeah,
but it was it was adorable. I love that stuff. I love seeing more, like people getting involved with it as well. Like I try and get even now. I got a video call off my mom earlier today. She was in Asda and she was like, "Tom, there's Pokemon cards here. Do you want these Pokemon cards?" And stuff. And it's just like, I like that stuff.
Probably those half-price tins we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, probably. Ones. Well, we don't have an Asda around here.
Oh, right.
There's not an Asda for like 20 miles. So every time I see those deals, to be fair, we don't have a shop. So every time I see those deals, it's always Asda, and I'm like, I can't get them.
Yeah.
The nearest Smiths is like 45 minutes away.
Anyway, guys, that has been an hour and 10 minutes. That has been the longest ever Monday training cut up. But actually, it's been a pleasure to have you on.
No, it's been really, honestly, really enjoyed coming down. It's been good.
Yeah, and it's been very easy talking. Obviously, you guys can see that. So please please subscribe.
You better like and you better subscribe. Otherwise, Shreddy's coming for you.
He's going to turn you into a bicep.
Yeah.
Eat like a protein bar. Yeah.
So many thanks, guys. And definitely do that, like I said. See you in a bit. Bye.